guys, this is language lesson page 149. We're just going to do the page together, so I want you to follow along with your book and fill in the answers as we do them together. So it's something that we've done before, but they're just taking it to kind of the next step. It is marking the sentences and then using these pictures, they call them a diagram, to put the pieces of the sentence on there. So the first thing it tells us to do is mark the sentences. Please, please, please read your directions. On some of your pages, I'm seeing sentences that aren't marked, even when it says mark the sentences. So make sure you're reading your directions. So let's look at this first one. The bright stars filled the dark sky. So the first thing I need to do is draw that line up and down between our subject and our predicate. So the subject of this sentence is the bright stars, and the predicate is filled the dark night sky. Okay. Then it tells us to underline, well, it actually doesn't tell us this, but what we need to do is underline the subject once, which is stars, underline the verb twice, which is filled. Okay. Then we are going to circle our adjectives. So right away I know the word the is always an adjective, and the word bright describes also the stars. And just to help me remember what they're describing, I can draw those little arrows that it's the stars, bright stars. So once I've done all those things to the sentence, underline the subject once, underline the verb twice, separated the predicate and the subject, circled my adjectives, then I can go ahead and fill in this diagram. So this first part is exactly like what we've already done a whole bunch of times. So we're reinforcing that. My subject goes here, stars, and my verb goes here, filled. But now I'm going to add my adjectives to the diagram. So they come down like slanty lines from the subject. And that tells us that they are describing the stars. So on those lines, I would write the bright. All right, let's look at number 2. Some people know the names of many of the stars. Mr. Stanton's one of those people. He knows the name of many of the stars, and he knows, I think, probably all the constellations. He knows a lot about astronomy. All right, so I'm going to look here. This sentence is about people. And what they do is know the names of the stars. So I'm going to divide my subject and predicate between the words people and know. People is the subject, know is the verb. And then my adjective here is some. It's one of those adjectives that tells me how many. Some. I'll put on my diagram, I will put the subject and the verb. And then I need to put my adjective here on the diagonal line coming down from people. Now you're going to notice that when they give you the diagram, they're going to give you the exact number of spots that you need. So that's a hint to you. If you go to fill in your answer and you don't have all the spots filled in, then you've missed something. Go back and check. All right, the last sentence says, a sweet crunchy red apple sat on the kitchen counter for my snack. I just wrote ... because I ran out of room there, and I don't need that part of the sentence. My subject is the apple. What it did was sat. All right, and then here I have 4 adjectives that describe my apple. A, sweet, crunchy, red. And if I want to, I can draw those arrows. I know, I forgot my arrow here, right? I can draw my arrows so that I know which noun the adjectives go with. Why would I want to do that? Well, because sometimes you're going to have more than one noun, so I want to make sure that I connect the adjectives to the noun that it's talking about. All right, so, oh, I'm running out of room here. My subject is apple. My verb is sat. And then my adjectives are a, sweet, crunchy, and red. All right, so make sure you have that filled in your book on page 149, because then when you try and do this again, if you forget, you have it all written down and you know you have something to look at.